Hey, customers, welcome back to another episode of Special Screening. Today's a special episode. We have our first return guest, Rick Ives. He's the writer, director of Solid Rock Trust. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, what's up, guys? Glad to be back. Hey, I just wanted to let you know, was just in the bathrooms, a lot cleaner than last time. You guys have been doing a great job of getting that cleaned up.
We're trying. We put Randy to more work, make sure you get that. So.
Really nice fragrance in there. And just splendid. And there's a guy standing there handing out paper towels.
Oh, yeah, he's not supposed to be in there.
Oh, shoot.
That's not an employee.
I tipped him $30.
Oh, man. Well, it's nice to have you back on. This week, we're going to be talking about The Last Crusade, the third Indiana Jones movie, but we'll probably be talking about all of them as we go along.
Yeah, nice.
So first of all, what made you pick this movie this time?
Oh, dude. Well, Indiana Jones 5 coming out, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
We're recording this on Tuesday, so we got like 3 days until it drops. This one, though, the Last Crusade, this is the movie that is one of my top 3 movies of all time. It's the movie that made me want to get involved in filmmaking. Mm-hmm. And I am it's the one that I watched so many times that I can't even tell if it's good or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that you've just seen it so much. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was fun to revisit it, kind of get in the mood, because I'm real excited for this new one. Now, part 4, I remember having a bad experience with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic about this weekend. Hopefully I'm not having another one where 30 minutes in, 45 minutes in, you're like, oh, is this good?
Well, at least with this one, it's James Mangold directing, if I remember correctly. And he did a great send-off with Logan, so we'll see how he does with Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
This is the send-off for him in the Dial of Destiny. So, but I really enjoyed this Last Crusade as well. I think I lean a little bit more towards Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay.
I like that one, but I still like this one a lot. Sean Connery's great in it, so it's hard not to.
Yep.
So this is your favorite one that even made you want to be a part of filmmaking.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah.
It's that I like it that much. Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it is regarded as one of the strongest entries in the whole series. Is there like specific elements that really speak out to you? Do you think that made it so successful?
Let's see. So did you watch this recently? Did you give it a rewatch?
I watched it this morning. Morning just to make sure.
You'd seen it before?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
How many times?
I think this might be my 3rd or 4th time. I haven't seen it a bunch of times, but I've seen it enough.
Let's see. I mean, where to start? Raiders of the Lost Ark is great. I think this one does kind of the same thing that Star Wars did, where the first 2 movies, they were kind of figuring out what this is going to be. Mm-hmm. And by the 3rd one, all cylinders, man. They know like where to put a joke in. They know what kind of action sequence. They know how to pace the whole thing. It never slows down. I just love that. There's like no quiet moments in this. Even the quiet moments are like mystery and intrigue, or something's being revealed as something is about to happen. It all feels just so great. I love the pacing.
It is a constantly moving movie for sure. Like there's always stuff going on. It keeps progressing as the story goes on. I mean, I really enjoyed it. The action's great in it as well. You know, that whole tank scene towards the end.
Tank scene might be my favorite action sequence ever in any movie ever. It's just so good. It's like funny and scary, and the stakes feel real. This was at a time too when they didn't just CGI everything. You know, it's all stunt work. So
it's all stunt work. You have I forget his name, but the character, he's like, "How do I get off this thing?" And he gets knocked off. You know, Sean Connery has to be grabbed with the whip, so he's getting on the tank tread.
Great liners, yep. Yeah, and they keep like playing with that tank. Like someone's inside, someone's outside. They're putting their face on the thing. People getting run over, putting rocks in the guns. It's like so much happening. I just love it, every second of that. And doesn't it feel more real and like more threatening?
Yeah, it's definitely got a real feel to it. I mean, it's like you're saying, it's not any of the CGI stuff, and having actual stunt performers always makes that kind of stuff work a lot better.
And they're riding a real horse around this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just so great. What about the bit? What about the bit at the end where you think he's over the cliff?
Oh yeah,
you know he's not.
Yeah.
So did that happen before this movie? That must have been a thing already, right?
What do you mean? The thinking somebody's dead?
Yeah, exactly. Like the joke, like you looking over the edge.
I'm sure that happened behind you.
It's
This
been
feels
done
like,
so many times. It's
yeah,
cliche, but I wonder if I have no idea.
instance of it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if
Was
I
it
can think of an
cliche at the
earlier
time? I
movie.
guess that's my question. This movie came out when I was 3, so I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a 89. So, yeah, I mean, this could be the first time, but I feel like it's got to be somewhere before too, because these Indiana Jones movies are kind of based on those old serials that used to be. That's kind of what makes them
Right.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, good call. Good
Yeah,
call.
so it probably is something in that. But that is a great scene, and they're all like standing there, and then Indy's just like,
His face is so good too. He's
yeah.
like, he can't even talk.
And he's just like looking down, and they're like, "What? Like, what are we looking at?" Like trying to like, and then they realize. I mean, Sean Connery kills it in this movie as well.
What was it that? Aren't they like 12 years apart? The actors.
Yeah, it's something like that. They're like way closer than than they should be.
So one of them was played younger, I guess. One of them was played
Older.
older.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. This is the first time I ever saw Sean Connery, and had to go back, obviously, and watch all the James Bonds and stuff. So I've seen a lot more of him.
No, and
But
then
this is like how I know him. As a kid, when you're like, "Oh, I know that guy from fill in the blank."
yeah,
Sean Connery was that guy from Indiana Jones.
I'm with you on that for sure. I think this is the first time I ever remember seeing him. We had the VHS tapes and all that box art was him and Indy on there, and that classic like almost drawing looking box art that they had for these movies. But yeah, I really love him in this movie. Harrison Ford, of course, is fantastic.
I'm super curious to see how this works out today, or in a couple days. Is he going to look like he's 80 years old? Like.
Well, I mean, he's a pretty good looking 80-year-old man. He's like not like decrepit
but
for sure.
Even for Last Crusade, he's like too old to be doing this stuff.
Exactly.
They even call him out on that in the third movie. He's like, "This belongs in a museum," and he says, "So do you." Like he's already too old for this, and he's only halfway through.
I can't believe he's really doing this at 80. I mean, he said he's retiring the character, so we'll see. We'll see if he's actually retiring the character. I mean, they are doing a lot of. It sounds like they're de-aging him a lot throughout the movie,
right? And I don't know if there's flashback stuff. I haven't watched even trailers. I'm not going to watch any of that.
Okay, just avoiding the trailers. I've seen the trailers for it. I'm
already going to watch it. I don't need to be sold. All right,
that's true. Yeah, if you're going to go see it, no matter what. But I don't know. I'm one of those people. I got to give me all the content. I want to see it. I got to see what's going on.
You got a show too, so you got to put some stuff on the show.
Yeah, I always have to have that for a fast film ready to go.
What about the girl in this movie? Her name's Elsa in the movie.
Yeah, she's a great side character. Her and
guess her age in this movie.
Like as the character or her age?
Oh, her age.
God, so she could be like 22 or something, and like way too young for him. Like, there's
23.
Definitely damn, was close. And then there's all that love story between the two of them.
And he's got to be mid-40s.
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird. As a kid, they're the same age to me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. As an adult, they're still both older than me. She's way too young for me, and she's still older than me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy. Back in the 80s, people looked older, right?
Definitely.
Why? Why is that?
I think it's the way they grew up, man. They were eating
all the cigarettes
and stuff, and lead paint was everywhere. They were getting aged up, man.
No one brushing their teeth.
Yeah, just
shoulder pads.
You bring up the age difference, but anytime I think of an age difference in the Indiana Jones movies, it's Raiders when he's talking to what's her name, Marion, and she's like, "I was a child," and like originally it was supposed to be in the script like she was 14 or something when they originally hooked up, and it's like, dude, this is
forgot about that.
Yeah,
that's the about that last night actually, because you can go and read the whole like 2-hour conversation where George Lucas and Steven Spielberg like brainstormed the idea, and they were going through ideas of story and stuff. And I've read some of it. George Lucas was like harping on that. No, she's like 16 or 17.
Yeah.
And Spielberg was like, nah, I'm not so sure about
Yeah, it's some weird stuff. I mean, George Lucas was always kind of, you hear those stories from Carrie Fisher about him, and like, she wouldn't let her wear anything underneath the Leia dress and said there's no underwear in space. Like shit.
Really?
Like, you didn't hear about that? Yeah, like that's something she's talked about where he's like, there's no underwear in space, so you can't wear anything under the dress.
So
it's like,
weird.
He doesn't get like It's so different. Like you would not get away with that nowadays for sure. Like you can't say that on set, I don't think.
Right. Oh man, weird. I have a theory that okay, so this is what I think.
Mm,
Everyone loves Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's fantastic. People are a little hot and cold on Temple of Doom, right?
mm. Yeah, for sure.
When I was a kid, that was my least favorite because I didn't really understand it. I have to believe audiences at the time were kind of like, this isn't quite the Indiana Jones we thought we were getting. Because it's a little dark and kind of strange and yeah, I don't know. It's just different. Today I watch it and I find a lot there. There's a lot going on, I think. But I think it was a little bit over people's heads. Okay, then part 3 is kind of return. It's almost a carbon copy of the first one, right?
Yeah. They definitely went light and then really dark and then light again.
But in the same way, like you got an opening action sequence, then he goes back to the college where all the girls are in love with him, and then he's got to meet somebody to tell him about a biblical thing that we're going to be hunting for, and then we go on a treasure hunt, and then it ends the same way with like you find the thing and it turns somebody old. It's almost the exact same movie.
It is. You're right. Yeah, they turn old instead of just melting, but they.
But there's like a crazy like CG animatronic, whatever it is, effect that gave me nightmares as a kid. And I had the VHS tape, and I would just like rewind and push play again because I had to see that thing.
Well, we're talking about Temple being darker. I remember being a little kid and the first time watching it, maybe like 6 years old, and being like, "This is too much for me." And like turning it off.
My parents didn't let me watch all. They were fast forwarding some of that stuff, and I remember specifically there was a TV edit that didn't show the hand going inside the chest and pulling the heart out. It just showed like he turned and the heart was already out. And one time I was like, wait a second, I swear I saw the hand go in. Because I had seen the other version. Yeah. The TV version, like they had to cut a lot of stuff out.
I mean, that was like way too dark for a PG movie. You know? Right. Like they got away with it because it was Spielberg and Lucas.
Okay, so then we're back to part 4. Part 4 was notoriously Lucas's story, right? He wanted to do aliens because it was like the 1950s comic books.
Yeah.
And spoilers for Indiana Jones 4, anyone who hasn't seen it.
It's like 15 years old at least. I think we're okay.
And that movie just was not great. There was too many, like Shia LaBeouf swinging on vines is not physically possible. And
God, I forgot about that.
Him in the fridge and all the sets look like sets. It just looks so bad to me, and it looks too glossy, and none of it's real. Man, just a lot of things wrong with that movie, I think.
Well, I mean, my theory is kind of stiff in there.
Yeah, stiff. And
she's great, like as an actress.
Also like a cartoon character. Yeah, right? Who has hair like that?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Come on.
Well, sorry about your theory.
So my theory is Spielberg, and then maybe Lucas was like, "Oh, we need to go dark. We're gonna do Temple of Doom, and it's gonna be different. We're gonna make a departure from the,
Yeah.
And then Spielberg is back, and he's like, "No, we're going to do it this way." And then Lucas is like, "Nah, now we're going to do number 4 is mine." So maybe it's Lucas.
Maybe it's Lucas messing with it.
Wrong way. And so my theory is that number 5 is going to be okay.
Every odd Indiana Jones movie is good. Exactly. It's also part of it. Yeah.
I'm going in hopeful.
I'm hoping this one's good. I mean, it seems like they're definitely going to pass it off to the lady from Fleabag. What is her name?
Oh, you think they're going to hand it over?
I think so. Like she's supposed to be playing. Well, I don't want to spoil anything from you from the trailers, but
don't get into it. Don't tell me anything.
Yeah,
I know that it's definitely not being handed off to Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, I think he's just gone. We're just going to act like
he would be in this one.
Yeah, what's his name? Mud or some Mud. Yeah. There we go. He's in the pound now. He's not around. He's gone.
Too funny.
But yeah, you talk about. I totally forgot about the swinging on the vines thing from that movie.
It was so fake. That was just a dark time in blockbuster history where anything is possible with CGI, but CGI is not quite there to sell it. But we got to show them something they've never seen before, so let's do it anyways. I really don't like that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, there's why some movies age better than others. Like if you go back to look at Jurassic Park, the other Spielberg movie, there we go. Like that stuff still looks fantastic.
Because they were smart about how to do it. Because they're smart about how to do it. And they weren't doing anything that was physically impossible in a way, you know, like it still has weight. There's still gravity.
Oh yeah. I mean, they did a lot of animatronic work for that one. And then I think it's just a couple times of CGI, like the ending and stuff. And
yeah. You know, and if the dinosaur is so big that you literally can't make an animatronic for it, then okay.
Yeah.
But
they spent their time, if I remember correctly, they filmed that stuff first. So the computer, the CGI team had all that time to work on it. And now it's kind of like every scene has some CGI.
Right.
So your VFX people are always kind of getting crammed in there.
I just saw, I finally watched Shazam 2. You guys watched that one, right?
I watched some of it. I kind of turned it off.
Okay, there's like a dragon dinosaur at the end, and Lucy Liu's riding it around, and it looks so bad. Like, that's what you're talking about. You can't just do anything because if you gotta give it time.
You got to give the people time to work on this kind of stuff, man. Otherwise, it just comes out not looking great. And
it's just crazy that you could have someone flying on the back of a dragon over the Phillies stadium and destroying all of Philadelphia, and it looks so fake. And I'm just like, ugh. But do I care? And then you have a guy on a horse fighting a tank. It's like so small, and yet it's so exciting.
Yeah,
because
it's done perfect.
Yeah.
But when you get into the too much CGI, it even can become like just a CGI fest of nothing.
Oh, well, that was the problem with Ant-Man, right? Is you don't know what you're looking at.
Yeah, that happened with the last Ant-Man, Quantumania.
Yeah.
It was also very dark and everything, and it was just like, what are we doing?
Bill Murray's a human, but
stuck here.
Down here.
Yeah.
I thought she was the first person to ever go. Whatever.
I don't know, man. Are you allowed to talk bad about Marvel? Are you still working with them?
I don't work Marvel. I'm not working for Marvel right now.
Okay.
We can talk about that. We can talk about that in a little bit. So I've still got I got a couple gripes with The Last Crusade.
Okay. Go for it, man.
Hold on a sec. He's just carrying a torch over petroleum. I didn't think this was a bad idea. And it's not like, it wouldn't light on fire, because they actually do light it on fire right after this. So I know it's dangerous. And if you look close, I watched it on Disney Plus, so it's HD. There are flames dropping from the torch. Even as a kid, I was like,
this seems awful.
Wouldn't those light everything on fire right now? That's not safe. He just like grabs a bone, like
he just
wraps it up, lights it up. Okay.
Like it's nothing. That scene when correct me if I'm wrong, is that the scene where like they eventually jump and like they go under the water and use like the coffin or whatever to right before the epic boat chase?
Yes. Love that stuff.
Yeah.
The X marks the spot gag always cracks me up.
When he says it at the beginning about the X never marks the spot, and then
and then he finds the X marking the spot. I love that.
I mean, I really enjoy at the end of this movie when he's actually going into the Temple of the Grail. Like, that whole sequence is really awesome to me. Like, it feels very Indiana Jones going through like the different trials to get there. You know,
that's the whole third act, and usually, we know that I've been doing some writing because I'm trying to make some movies, but I always struggle with the third act because I'm like, what's supposed to happen? These days, it's just a fight, right? And man, that's so boring. Can there be something else we do besides a 20-minute fight scene? You know?
Yeah.
And this movie was really smart. It's like you go into the third act and, there's trials. Now the trials start. So we got 15 minutes straight of booby traps.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a bookend to the first movie, where the first movie arc opens with going through
good catch,
like a temple and doing trials to get to that, and then we get the bookend of doing the same thing. Exactly, and then you throw in the fourth one, it changes that up a little bit. But anyway,
I love all the trials. I love that they set them up early, and they're like, there's trials and there's booby traps, but I have the clues, and so we're thinking about the clues and what could it all mean, and then when we finally see, man, it just plays so well.
I mean, and the trials are even great, especially the cup scene. Like, picking which one of these is going to be the right one.
Yeah,
And and he finds like the one that's basically just boring. He's like, that's the cup of a carpenter right there, and grabs that one. Like,
so great. That's good writing, man. Good writing.
yes, yeah, it really is. I mean, I can see why this is your favorite one for sure. It's definitely
a good one. So to this day, okay, man, I can't even remember when I first started watching this. I must have been like 8 or 9 years old, because I remember not knowing what Nazis were and not knowing what a swastika was.
Yeah.
And as a kid, you're like, you have no concept of what this is. It's just this symbol. And it's kind of like interesting the way it like flags in a circle, but it's a square. And I remember drawing it once, like, hey mom, what is this? She put her hand over it and said, you could never draw that.
Don't ever draw that again.
I said, oh, okay. So I must have been at that age. But to this day, whenever I hear about books being taken out of libraries or censorship or of some kind, in my mind's eye, I see the scene in this movie where they're burning all the books. Like, that's the Nazis. That's what the Nazis do. They burn the books. They erase history. We can't do that. Like, ingrained in my memory of what that looks like. I think it was so smart of Spielberg to like put in real history stuff as kind of a joke, but kind of like imagery that is hard to get away from, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to show these people as your bad guys, they have to be doing all the typical bad guy shit we knew they did,
Yeah, so they have to be bad, but this is what's different in movies today is they picked bad guys who we all agree are bad, but they're like in real life bad.
Yeah, like in real life.
They did terrible things. And this is not that kind of movie. This is a fun romp adventure movie. Same with the first one, but we picked them, and it's like setting it just enough in the real world that it's kind of, and we see the book burning stuff, and it like plays off as a joke, because he bumps into Hitler, and Hitler's going to sign it, like autograph the book. Like, I should not be laughing at this.
Yeah,
too funny. But
so how did you feel about the intro with the young Indiana Jones stuff?
Oh, great.
Do you like that?
Thank you for bringing that up. I love the intro.
Okay.
I love how they play it off where you don't know it's a flashback until after you see the guy with the hat look up.
Yeah.
And, oh, wait, that's not Indiana Jones. Wait, what's going on here? And then it says the year. Oh, he's young. Oh, young Indiana Jones. Okay, so is this the first movie to ever do fan service for a previous iteration of the movie?
That's a good question. I can't imagine there's not some fan servicey stuff in Star Wars that we could get into. Was Star Wars
doing fan servicey stuff, or was it just blazing trail and like adding new, because now there's fan service, obviously.
Oh yeah, all the time.
But in the third one, were they doing fan service? I mean, they go back to Jabba's palace, but even that really wasn't in the first one. They just mentioned Jabba.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can think of any.
Yeah, I'm trying to think now too. I can't really think of anything.
But this one is straight up fan service.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is why he's afraid of snakes. This is why he gets a scar on his face. They even reference, like, they make a joke about Ark of the Covenant. Oh yeah, you wouldn't get that joke unless you saw the first movie.
I mean, they do like kind of like they did in Solo, where it's like, this is where he got his hat, like that kind of thing. The Solo.
This is where he got his hat. Yeah, you're so right. And they say where he got his name.
Yeah, the dog.
Oh man, it's just so funny to me that they're like, oh, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put in jokes that people will get if they saw the first one, and it works so well. They're smart about it.
How do you feel about Indiana Jones? You find out in this movie, his whole typical outfit is because he lost to somebody when he was a kid, and he's like, I'm gonna dress like him for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Man, it's like the birth of who we know, Indiana Jones. And I love the line. He's like, you lost today, kid, but that doesn't mean you have to like it.
Yeah, that is a great line. That is a great line.
And then it goes straight into him like finishing the relationship with the guy with the cane and the white coat. And he's still trying to steal that thing all these years later.
The cross of Coronado, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Um,
that is a great transition too to show him and then show like pretty much that's your jump forward to the future and get us
yeah.
on the present timeline and keep going like that using that
Um,
character.
Loved all the animals because that stuff
Hmm.
was real, except for maybe the giraffes. That those might have been animatronic, but it looks like they're really on a train doing all this stuff.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, through that whole opening fight. I mean,
They got a
so
real lion. The rhino, I'm
mhm.
sure, was not real, but even that was fun.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just great.
definitely an animatronic horn that goes through the roof of that train
Yeah,
car.
yeah. That's the kind of man. I just wish we had more movies like this where it's action adventure. It feels like there's stakes, but
Mm,
it's fun too. That's the superhero genre now. Maybe that's
yeah,
why I like superhero movies so much, is because it's basically that. You don't get that in a lot of other places.
yeah. There was. I did enjoy the. Did you see Uncharted, the Tom
Okay.
Holland one? Because I
Uh,
like these adventure movies, so I give them a little
yeah,
easier of a
yeah.
break with stuff.
I didn't watch Uncharted on
Mhm.
purpose because I love the Uncharted video games, and I've
Okay.
never played the last one.
Hmm.
And I want to play the I want to play the last one before I watch the movie. So because
Okay.
the games are so great.
Yeah, I mean those games are like top 10 for a lot of people. Won tons of awards. I have not played the game, so I just went in
Oh man.
with some knowledge about what goes on, but not really
Okay.
anything. So I was open to whatever story they
Yeah,
decided to
yeah.
tell. You know.
I don't play so many video games anymore since I had kids. I just don't have the time. But the thing that always pulled me in was storytelling a medium.
Hmm.
You know, so it's the storytelling games that I always get sucked in. Less Call of Duty, less Minecraft, where it's just
Yeah.
endless. Less The Sims, where like there's no end. It just goes forever. Uh, so I really latched onto those Uncharted games because it is Indiana Jones. It's like what Indiana Jones should have been.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a lot like that and a lot of action adventure kind of games. If you like storytelling games, this is completely off our usual topic, but
Do it.
have you played Until Dawn? That's a PlayStation game as well.
I know that was after I had kids,
Oh,
so
okay.
it's on. One day I'm going to be
Yeah.
in a retirement home. I'm going to be the 70, 80-year-old, 85-year-old guy who like just plays PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4,
For
PlayStation 5, PlayStation 6 games when there's PlayStation 12
then
out.
it probably yeah. Yeah, that I mean
Be like,
that's a great storytelling
this
game
rocking
though.
chair. Wait, and I can't believe his thumb still moved fast enough to do it. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I play them all on easy. This
Yeah.
is the list of games I had never got to because I had to be an adult.
Had to be an adult and be a parent and work, man. I get it. Yeah. But yeah, definitely check out Until Dawn if you ever find yourself with some time. It's a good
Yeah, yeah, I do
storytelling
want
game
to.
for sure.
Nice, good recommendation.
Yeah, it's a great game. I've played it a couple times through. Um, and we've talked about like how the lighter tone in this movie versus that Temple of Doom one, and I think that's the right call to just keep going with these movies. So I hope they
Yeah,
keep that up with 5 at least
right.
and have some fun with it.
There's a handful of movies out there that really nail that tone. I think the first Pirates of the Caribbean is the same thing,
Hmm.
where it's just like fun adventure, a little bit of slapsticky, but the stunts are like creative, and you've never seen anybody in
Hmm.
this situation before, and it's funny and kind of scary. I just wish we had more stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of movies can start with a fun one like that, but they always feel like they have to one up themselves, and then you
Yeah,
get
then it
to
has
a
to get
point,
dark. It has to
and
get real
then
serious.
yep, you got to get through a serious time. You got to keep one upping yourself, and then eventually you get to a point where you can't even do the action realistically anymore because you've one upped everything you've
Yeah,
done
yeah,
already.
exactly. You have to
So,
show them something even bigger.
mhm.
And I'm not so sure that's always like the right move. In fact, maybe Temple of Doom was the right move to make,
And then go
Like
dark.
we're not just gonna redo the same thing. We're gonna take it in a different direction. And then it didn't work so well. But that's the risk they took.
I hadn't really thought about how much 1 and 3 are so much alike,
So
but
much alike.
but now it's making me rethink as I look across my room here and see a Star Wars: The Force Awakens poster and go, well, they redid New Hope just like that with Force
Exactly the
Awakens.
same.
So
It's the same movie, beat by
yeah,
beat.
and
Now, in that case, it was the right move because they're trying to like revitalize this
mm,
franchise and they want to remind everyone why they fell in love with Star Wars. And I'm okay with that, actually. Now,
I
when you
was
do the
too.
same thing again, and then
Hmm.
when you do the same thing again, it's like, okay,
then you get in some trouble.
That's why I liked the second reboot movie. Which one was that?
The Last Jedi.
I loved The Last
You like
Jedi.
that one?
Yeah, loved it because
Man,
it
I
was
think
so different.
I could not get into it, man. I just,
I don't blame you.
this
I don't blame
is
you.
a controversial movie for sure. Like it
Yeah,
splits people
definitely.
for sure. I've had many debates with people talking
I'm
about
on the
this.
side of, dude, I didn't know where it was going and I was along for the ride anyways. And then they veered back, like right back on track. And
Well,
it
then
was
they
a
went a little too hard and went the other way. Like they overcorrected too much for
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Rise of
totally.
Skywalker. Like, no, don't do that.
Wait, we're doing the Death Star again?
Yeah.
Again? How many times?
And we got Palpatine back
And
again.
Palpatine's back? What? Now, I think that, are you up on the TV series for those?
For Star Wars,
Yeah.
I watch everything. I don't watch the cartoons though. I haven't gotten
Okay, yeah.
into the animated
I
stuff
think in the
enough.
Mandalorian, I think they're gonna bridge that gap. I think they're leading. That's my theory.
I think they are. I think
They're
that's
going towards Palpatine coming
the
back,
plan. Yeah, I think you're right about that.
like trying to explain this. That's some fun stuff that Star Wars could do. Is like go back and say, "Well, you thought it was bad,
Yeah.
but actually, there's a reason why there's a little hole in the Death Star." That
Yeah. I feel like it's a big Dave Filoni thing to like,
Yeah.
like he did that with the prequels with the animated series. Like, no, I'm gonna make these better. Like,
Totally.
just watch the cartoon. It'll
Yeah,
get better.
yeah.
Like, it'll make more sense.
Yeah, and then totally. And then it adds into the whole mythos of it all. But the problem is you have to watch like 60 hours of
Yeah,
stuff.
you gotta watch tons of stuff to just make those three movies better. But I mean, we've seen it. Like, I remember, like even 15 years ago, people would just dog on those prequel movies, and now they've gotten like the second coming of like, actually, they're great. Like,
It's weird. I still don't love them. I love the story that happens. I do not love the CGI. I do not love a lot of the dialogue. I don't love some of the acting.
Dialogue's bad. One of my least favorite lightsaber fights is probably a lot of people's favorites, the Obi-Wan and Anakin on Mustafar. Like, I do not like that one at all.
Interesting.
Like, it doesn't feel like, I like more of a classic fight. Like, I think of Star Wars should be more like the original trilogy with their fights. You know, it's not too crazy. There's a part where they're just swinging the lightsabers around, not even attempting to connect with each other, or like they're climbing a tower while also fighting. It's like, what are we doing?
It doesn't look that good by today's standards, you know, because it was all fake.
Like, I mean, the best fight, in my opinion, is really the Phantom Menace, the Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan.
That's what I was going to say. That's the best one.
That's my favorite.
Real, and it's a little more acrobatic, and there's like 2-on-1.
Yeah, and it's not like too crazy acrobatic. They're not like going off the walls. Yeah. There's just like a couple jumps here and there, but it feels real. And then you know, the whole thing with when they're separated by those force field walls and how that breaks down.
Yeah.
You know, Qui-Gon's like meditating. Darth Maul's like walking back and forth like a straight up predator in a cage.
Right.
Just waiting. So I
That's
thought
my
that
favorite
was
of the three. I think Phantom Menace is my favorite. But you're right. It is weird how they like, it used to be a joke. Oh no, we do love them, even though we're just kidding. But now it's not a joke anymore.
Now people love that, and it's like now the sequels are dog shit, and we're gonna get into after Mandalorian's all done, and we get the Mandalorian movie and all that. People are like, you know, actually, the sequels are kind of good. You know,
that's exactly what's gonna happen. Yep,
for sure.
Right, it'll be 20 years from now, but
I mean, they announced that they're gonna do another Rey movie, which is gonna be.
Oh, I saw something about that.
Yeah, I think that's actually. Well, no, they're gonna do a Rey movie, and then James Mangold's also getting his own movie to do.
Yeah,
Star Wars.
Dude, tell me when the ticket's on sale because I don't believe it until it's in theaters.
I'll give you that.
They've announced so many Star Wars movies, so many directors that have never happened.
Well, it was like I remember the big one being it was the Game of Thrones guys were gonna do like a Knights of the Old Republic kind of thing, and it was like, oh, this will be cool. They did Game of Thrones well. They'll probably be able to do like the political warfare shit well too. And then it was just like, now we're cutting it.
Crickets.
Nothing, just gone.
They fired the director for part 3 on the new ones.
Oh yeah, it was.
Who else? There was someone else who was going to make a Star Wars movie. Oh, it was was it Coppola? No. It was the woman who did Wonder Woman.
Oh, oh my God, what is her name? Now I'm blanking too. The
That's
first thing
gone.
that came to my mind was Amy Pascal, but that's the lady who does Spider-Man stuff.
Right. Yeah.
What is
I
her
can't remember
name?
her name right now. But I don't think that's happening anymore.
Yeah, I think that's done. Randy, can you look up her name? That's going to drive me crazy. But yeah, that they just announced too much stuff. I mean, you even kind of see it with the Marvel side of stuff. We've seen projects from there get canceled and
Yep.
changed and all that like crazy.
It's just a
So,
crazy world now where you have to have buzz all the way to the theater, and
mhm.
that buzz begins 6 years before
Yeah,
the
like,
movie comes out.
yeah. Well, the first one I really remember them changing was that show like the Immortals or something, and then it became like a television or the
Oh,
Inhumans,
right.
excuse me, and then
Yeah,
it
because
became like a
that
show
was
instead. And
that was when it was still Fox, right?
no,
Was
no,
the
it
Immortals Fox? Or I'm
I,
thinking of the other one.
I misspoke. It's the Inhumans. The Inhumans is the one I
Oh,
was thinking about. That was a movie that they had announced, and then they pushed back, and it became a show. And then
yeah,
the
yeah,
show lasted for like 5 episodes, and they canceled it.
right.
And that had a lot of potential there. And they just kind of have to keep it all up. I think I've seen Captain America: The Serpent Society on a timeline more times than I can count. It always becomes something else. Like,
Really? I don't
yeah,
even
they've put
remember
that
hearing
on
that.
there. Like originally, that was like going to be Winter Soldier, if I remember correctly, and then they changed it to Winter Soldier,
Hmm,
and they just kept doing that. And Civil War wasn't titled like on the timeline. Didn't say Civil War at first. It said
interesting.
that,
Yeah,
and
that
then
one's tough because they're a machine. If you have like three movies going at a time somewhere in the world, and
I mean
three movies releasing this year somewhere in the world, and three
eh,
movies in like pre-production,
that, and
you
then
like, and they all tie
shows.
in together. You really have to
Mm-hmm.
have figured out. So maybe they don't need to announce them so early, but
I mean,
it's
people are
just
still
funny
gonna
when you
go.
have to announce stuff so early, and it's not going to be like Avatar got pushed another year. Did you see that?
Oh yeah,
And the
yeah.
Avatar, like 5 release date is 2031 or something like.
I just saw somebody talk about it. It's like I saw the first one when I was 6. I'm gonna be 30 when the final one comes out.
I'm gonna be a grandpa when the kids
Like
when the
damn.
plasma comes out.
And I mean, I'm sure they'll keep getting delayed too. It took us what 10 years to go from 1 to 2. So
Yeah, crazy.
I mean, James Cameron wants his stuff all the way best tech he can, for sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, besides these movies, how have you been, man? What you been up to?
Oh,
Last time
okay.
we had you on, it was for Solid Rock Trust, and we were talking about that.
I can't
So,
tell you what episode that was. Do you guys number your episodes?
well, you actually were our first episode, and I
Oh,
think that was about 4 months ago, something like that.
go back, everybody.
I
Listen
think
to the
that was
very
right.
first episode. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna bore you with it now, but Solid Rock Trust is a movie that I made. It's called, or it's a bank heist movie that takes place in a single room. The room's not a bank; it's a girl on a whole bunch of cell phones,
Mhm.
and it's super exciting and fun. And it's not a boring watch at all. Lots of twists and turns.
Yeah, and I saw it today on Amazon. It's available to rent, and you can watch it on
Yeah,
there.
you can rent it on Amazon.
Mhm.
You can watch it for free on Tubi. You can watch it for free on YouTube.
Okay.
You can rent it in a couple other places if you don't want to watch commercials. But go leave me a YouTube comment somewhere. That would be great
Yeah, for sure.
on the movie.
Definitely check it out. It was a lot of fun to watch too. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah,
Um,
we went all into like how we made it
mhm.
and our actress and I mean, what else do we talk about? Where the story came from, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Then we watched. We had talked about Buried as well because it's that same concept of being in a one room, just a little bit more tighter
Yeah,
in a
totally.
coffin. But yeah. So what kind of project are you working on now? I'm sure you've been
Yeah,
writing
so
and.
I just wrapped a Marvel show, and I was supposed to be on another one already, but we're all
Mhm.
shut down because of the writer's strike. So I'm on summer break,
Okay.
and I could be working as soon as
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 soon
soon as
as the
they reach
strip.
a deal. We'll see what happens. I
Are
think
you allowed
that
to talk about what show you were just working on, or
no,
got
not
it?
until it
Okay.
comes out. So sorry, it's this big secret, but it's going to be a
All
good
right.
one. And I can't tell you what the new one is either, but it's going to be a
Mhm.
good one. And what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, we're waiting to find out if the actors are going to strike in a week.
Yeah.
But I think everyone's kind of just waiting to see what's going to happen, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that they passed a vote of like 97% of them agreed to strike if
Right.
necessary.
And I think that's next week. Now, the DGA did ratify their contract, so that could be a good sign
Mm-hmm.
that the producers are negotiating fairly, or it could be a bad sign that the producers are trying to pit the DGA against everybody else.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's going to be an interesting thing. Are you a member of the Writers Guild as well,
No,
or
I'm in the Editors Guild.
just Editors Guild? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we almost went on strike 18 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then they negotiated a deal and it was ratified 49% to 51% in favor, like the night before we were going to go on strike.
Really?
So literally at the last minute, we were all planning to not go to work. And this was not just editors. This was grips, camera, hair, makeup, props, sets, like everybody. They're all in an IATSE union, and we were all going to strike together and really shut down everything, but it didn't happen. So that may be likely again in another 18 months. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, watching this writers stuff strike go on has been interesting for sure. Seeing projects getting delayed already, stuff like Daredevil got delayed. I saw because they just can't do it, and so hopefully they figure out something. I mean, the writers definitely deserve their fair share.
Yep. Well, I'm in full support. I'm sad that I'm not working right now, and also a little happy that I'm not working right now. So I got a million home projects that my wife wants me to do. So
yeah, for sure.
But I always just say, I'll get to it. I'll get to it.
Well, you also get to be home for summer with the kids, right? So that's a little nice too.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. So. That's fun. Let's see what else. I'm thinking about. I originally had a break in my real life work schedule in the fall that I was going to try to shoot another movie, but now that everything's getting delayed, I don't know if I'm going to have a break then. So I wish I could tell you more on what else I had coming up, but I really don't know.
No, for sure. Totally understandable. I mean, this strike is definitely changing the whole aspect of Hollywood right now, and release dates and everything. So it's completely understandable to still be figuring out what your schedule is going to be like. So,
yep.
Well, buddy, hey, thank you for coming back on. I really appreciate it.
I got one more question before we leave.
Oh, yeah, no, of course.
You guys are in a motorcycle with a sidecar. Who's in the sidecar, Randy, or is Randy driving?
Randy's in the sidecar.
How you feeling about that, Randy?
I think Randy would tell you he's in the sidecar. He's the brains, and I'm just the face, but I got to be on the motorcycle.
Randy? He's holding the umbrella and the briefcase.
Randy's got the map. I think you're muted, Randy. That's why he's in the sidecar.
Randy's got the diary to the grail.
I said I'm fine either way. I'm good.
We all know Randy's in the sidecar and he's smoking. That's what's happening.
If you guys are in a plane and one's in the front driving and one's in the back with the Gatling gun.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Randy, I'll let you call this.
I think I could drive the
There
plane.
you go. Yeah.
I played Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah,
I'll be good.
So Randy's flying.
Yes, land no.
There you go.
Yeah, definitely. We have it's an interesting back and forth dynamic for sure. Randy makes sure shit gets done around here.
Yeah, Randy, you should be on the other TV all the time, I think.
We try to get him to, but
I'm more of a backroom kind of guy.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on. It was super fun.
Dude, of course.
I'm going to leave you our link tree to put it in the comment in the show notes again. So listeners, you can go click and find out about my movie down there. And then, good luck, guys, on this weekend. We're going to go watch Indy 5.
Definitely going to be seeing it. So, hey, Rick, really, thanks again for coming back on. It's always a great time to have you on here for sure to talk movies. So thanks again.
This will not be the last time.
For sure. We'll have to come up with something else we can watch and talk about. Hopefully before your next movie comes out, we'll get you back on.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Well, thanks again, buddy. We'll see you.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Have a good day.